No video?
Sucks.
What, the
I
prompt?
thought my classes were going to begin a month from now, but they begin next week.
Oh, you're already restarting your semester? Or
Summer classes.
Welcome back.
summer classes?
Are you? You're almost done, aren't you? Like,
Yeah. End of the year.
Oh! Whoa.
Come back here whenever you're tired.
Forever.
Wait, does that mean you graduate as a fully fledged practice
it's you.
ball man?
What were you
Well,
thinking?
before I can practice,
Who should I bring
have to
out?
do the bar, but yeah.
Keep it
Bar,
quick.
you think
See you
you'll
around.
go past the bar? What's going to be your
No.
study regimen for the bar? What are you gonna?
I'm probably going to do about... If anyone's in chat who's done the bar,
thank
let me know if this
goodness.
sounds feasible. I'm going to do probably about 30 minutes a day for 2 weeks, and we'll see if that works.
Won't you
I
consider
spent
this?
time jerking
Thank
off.
you.
I mean, oh my
Be
god!
careful
I don't
on
feel
your
like I've
journey.
become like a more intelligent person over doing that. Like, you might need to.
A lot of people say that it will work.
Have you considered
No.
the bar on the floor?
Ah,
Shout out to peeps.
Deeper. Oh, good. Well, I mean, you've been slowly unraveling it as you've been going.
This
but
one was
the other ones are yeah. This one, like the other ones, are big, flashy effects, and it's obvious.
back.
This one is very, I would say, it's subtle, but it's a lot more subtle
at
if you're
your
not as
service.
familiar with the game.
I think the big risk
Very
with
well.
this card is probably just
Is
the
there
misery of
anything
playing
else?
against it over and over. So unless you have a bunch of those effects that can't be
the list of
destroyed, or when they
requests.
destroyed
You
somehow
were a great
give you
help.
something.
Uh-huh.
But I just, like, that does constrain the meta. It's just, 2017's weird
Thank you very
because I
much.
feel like it's not Yu-Gi-Oh!
Over here,
2, but it's
please.
developed enough that there's a bunch of these things floating around that this doesn't completely shut down. But it's gotta be so annoying to play against. So,
Grimoire
like, there's a
stones,
chance
yes?
this is fine because the game is more powerful with things that,
Item
like, get you
storage there.
enough value that this doesn't ruin you. But it still
Be
feels like a
careful on your
nightmare.
journey.
Did this have to get banned? I
Hey
do
there.
think the play pattern is toxic.
Sorry, kiddos.
Like
But
the
I'm
Timmy
fresh
card.
and asked
Just the
around.
ability to
Yeah,
always
what'll
be
it be
blowing
goes
things
to
up just for
Jay?
playing these
Thanks.
because you can pull these out of the extra deck is insane. And
Uh-huh.
so, like, that's
Now you're getting it.
stupid. So yeah, like a game where you just have to slog through all this before any of your stuff can even have a chance to stick to the board. Not to mention dealing with the rest of their deck. Now, also from a deck building standpoint, these fuckers don't have to run real removal. They just have it in their extra deck. So they can just run all Zodiacs or other spells that hose you because they just need a critical mass of Zodiacs so that they can keep this thing coming. So it interacts with everything you can do in your deck that would need to be on the board. And the rest of their deck can just be really narrow hosers for certain strategies or just all Zodiacs if they want to do it that way. I bet the first decks were all Zodiacs and then they realized that since they didn't have to devote any spots to removal, they could do other degenerate shit too. So I'm gonna say banned.
No, this card's. I'm just kidding. This card was banned. Yes, this card was banned. You got it correct. The way you just brought it all together at the end, I'm very impressed, and I think the audience is going to love that as well. So, you actually hit it right on the head. So, this was by far and away the best. As soon as these cards were released, they had an immediate impact. Never before had there been an archetype that only required one monster to start Xyz summoning. Not to mention, I'm only showing you this one. I told you, there's one that tutors for a Zodiac card in the deck. There's several other of these that do other things. Dryden is obviously one of the most egregious, I want to say, because it's always constant interactive removal that you have at your extra deck's disposal at any given moment. And so it's actually exactly like you said. So I don't want to say immediately everyone was playing pure Zodiac and that's all they were doing, but when people, sort of realize that, oh, these are generic, in quotes, in the sense that they don't have any restriction as to what we can or cannot play, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is very open-ended that way, other decks started to surface where, oh, we're going to play Kaiju Zodiac, or we're going to play Paleo Zodiac, or we're going to play Infernoid Zodiac, and so everyone just splashed a small Zodiac engine into their other strategy, and so in addition to everything else that their deck was doing, you would just also have a Trident on your board as well that could just pop stuff every single turn on both players' turns. So much so, like you said, that it just warped deck building, because going into games, you had to just concede to the fact that I need to deal with Trident on an open board every single time I play the game. How am I going to do that? And so players had to dig deep and find plenty of different cards that either would negate Trident to prevent it, from actually popping things, or they would just play some cards that had protection from the effect of being destroyed. That was another way to work around it. But this card was just everywhere. Every single deck was playing Trident, whether you were playing a multitude of Zodiacs or just a small engine just so you could have access to Trident. Extremely, extremely powerful card. So much so that they did eventually ban it, because people really hated seeing this card, because it was just every single game you were staring down a Trident plus whatever else your opponent's deck was capable of doing. Personally, I love this deck. This is, even though the play pattern sounds toxic, there's a lot of interaction between, Zodiac decks of the back and forth that it's, some of the best Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of how interactive it actually is. So even though it's all centralized around a very banned card, it actually makes for some of the most interactive Yu-Gi-Oh! And I think it's a lot of fun.
Come back here whenever you're tired.
Of course you would. Of course you would say that was Yu-Gi-Oh!
And one thing you overlooked.
Yes, go on.
I know you were waiting for it. If your Trident survives for the turn, let's say, and the turn comes back around to you, instead of just overlaying more Zodiacs on the first Trident that you summon, you can summon a second Trident, because these don't have a hard once per turn, they have a soft once per turn, which means it's once per copy. So if you're able to set up double Trident with material, the game is just over, because then you're popping 2 cards per turn on both turns, and that was basically just a checkmate. Doesn't happen often, but if you got your opponent in that situation, they were just dead to rights.
Yikers.
Maybe I'll show you the whole archetype for Zodiac one day. That's a very... I think when you get the full scope of this, you're going to be like, oh, this is fucking crazy. Yeah, it's not... I would say it's tier element crazy, but it's still pretty crazy. Coming from your game, I'll say. But, alright, only a few left, and we've definitely saved some of the best for last.
Thunder Dragon Colossus. Level 4. Look at this beast. That's a Timmy card. I don't need to read it.
Okay.
Look at this. Look at it. That's amazing. Alright, attack is 2600, defense is 2400, Thunder Fusion effect. Thunder Dragon plus Thunder Monster. You think they mentioned Thunder enough? Must be
I don't think so.
Summoned. Okay, or special summoned. During the turn, a Thunder Monster's effect was activated in the hand by tributing 1 Thunder effect non-fusion monster. In which case you do not use polymerization. Yeah, we're doing great. I'm so here for it. I'm just gonna assume all that happens all the time, no cost. Cards cannot be added from the main deck to your opponent's hand except by drawing them. From the main deck to your opponent's hand except by drawing them.
Welcome back.
What a line. If this card would be destroyed or by battle or card effect, you can banish 1 Thunder Monster from your graveyard instead.
I'll give you a little bit of context. Colossus is based off of one of the first cards ever printed called Thunder Dragon. So I'll just go ahead and... this is the original Thunder Dragon. So you give this guy a read. Very simple effect.
Oh, good. Just what I needed, more cards to read. This one's at least straightforward. Look at this little green buddy. This is a level 5. You can discard this card. Add up to 2 Thunder Dragon from your deck to your hand.
Nice.
It just gets 2 more of itself. It's level 5, so you still have to, like, tribute summon it.
And so for the first part of Colossus's effect, it says, if a Thunder monster activated its effect, you can just
What
tribute
the
any
fuck?
Thunder monster you control to just special summon
That's
straight out of the
amazing.
extra deck. So I showed you Thunder Dragon because it's a Thunder monster that you just has an effect
Is
that
there
activates in the
anything
hand.
else?
If you discard it to get 2 more, you've now met that
Who will
condition.
carry this one?
All of the Thunder Dragons, there's more of them, but all of them have an effect that you discard them from the hand to do something.
And
So
then,
it is.
and then it comes out and hoses the
a
opponent's
safe trip.
ability to try to do the same thing. If they
Actually, in
Let's
theory,
take that
yes,
for me.
it does. In theory, yes,
Hoses
yes.
Is
itself.
that all you came
Correct.
for?
Killer in the mirror match.
Damn, I bet the Thunder
Here you
Dragon
go.
mirror match was a big deal. This card would be destroyed. You can banish a
That
Thunder
sounds
monster from
really
the
fun.
graveyard, and you discarded one, so it already has.
I have to clarify that that was sarcasm.
Kind of tied in.
Welcome to the
Correct.
roost. Very well.
Okay. And this one comes
A
from
quick
me.
rest, right? Of course.
You also have to tribute 1 Thunder Effect
Well,
non-fusion
be
monster.
careful out there.
Is that so much stuff? And what the heck is polymerization?
Ah, it's you.
So remember from way back when we
What were
first
you
started,
thinking? Who
fusion
should I bring
monsters, you need to have 2 monsters plus a fusion
Keep
spell
it quick.
card, or
See you around.
polymerization, which is the classic one. You would have those 2 cards, you activate your
It's
fusion
still a
card,
good
put those
card.
to the grave, and then summon Thing out of your extra deck. So that's the traditional
It's
way to fusion
hilarious
summon.
how
Welcome
This
good
way
it
just
still
shoots
is.
itself out onto the field.
Sign in over
You
here,
can
please.
summon it the traditional way, but you don't have to. And most of the time, you're never doing it.
Okay, so literally that whole line of text, all the way up to the last parenthesis with polymerization, all that's really saying is discard a dragon and get this for free.
Correct, yes. A Thunder monster specifically.
Okay. I mean, it's really, like, that is a heck of a rate, especially considering, like, graveyard decks and things like that. Just, I love that more than half the text on the card applies to a cost that is completely irrelevant.
Welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh, my friend.
Okay, yeah. Do people alter their cards like they do in Magic? Can you go in and just alter by, like, Sharpie lining all the words you don't actually need to care about? I guess the question we're asking then is how good is that? That you just
Why would you
discard
even do
card,
something
you
like
get
that? What?
2600 monster. And if those discard
If
effects
I would
are
Sharpie
such
anything,
that, like Thunder
it would
Dragon,
be
where you get 2
the
more
level
monsters,
stars.
There you go. And it has kind of this...
I'd
continuum
separate them
called
in chunks of
Staxy
3
effect.
so they're
That
easier to
says the
read.
opponent can't do this thing. They can't add cards from their main deck to their hand except
I
by
gotta
one.
align
So it
every
turns off
3 or
tutoring
maybe
effects.
it's every
So in a
4.
way, with the right build, this is a deck that shuts
Counting
down
individually
opposing
like that is
tutors,
hard, but
which
if you
can be
segment them, it's a lot
good in
easier.
a combo-centric
And they're
meta,
still gonna look
like
pretty,
really good,
unlike
but is
using
this
flat
something
numbers
every
might.
deck uses? Is this something that all decks rely on? This kind of tutoring effect.
Not
in
sure
some
how
way so
useful
that this
prayer
card
would even
becomes
be
the
now that
bad
we have
guy?
this
Because
stupid
if
Want me to
T.
help you?
A little. I want to finish my thought here. In a meta where one deck is doing lots of tutoring, is way too consistent, and is dominating because of that, this is the good guy. And in a meta where every deck needs to tutor to make their deck do a thing, this is very much the bad guy. So
Okay.
is this the good guy or the bad guy? Do you have any context?
Yu-Gi-Oh, as you know, is very averse to draw power, hence why Pot of Greed is still banned. As such, Yu-Gi-Oh is plentiful with tutors. We have tutors for tutors, and we have tutors for tutors for tutors. Every card in Yu-Gi-Oh, especially as we get into Yu-Gi-Oh 2, every deck has cards that tutor for other cards.
That makes it sound like this is the bad guy.
Okay.
Yeah, and like you said, like you brought it up, the lack of draw power means it's not like they can just play a 1-mana draw 2 anytime soon. Or not even 1 mana, a free draw 2. Nobody just has a Pot of Greed lying around.
While we do have draw power, it just comes at a high cost. Do you remember the Pot of Desires where you have to bench the top 10 cards of your deck before you can draw the 2? So we do have some draw power, but I will say that tutoring is much more common than draw power.
So they probably don't like this card.
Sign in over here, please. Come back here whenever you're
And you
tired.
can get it very much for free. Like, discard one. If you are playing those dragons, like you showed me those dragons, if you're just playing those dragons, and this is in your extra deck, all you have to do is have one of those dragons in your hand, discard it, get this on the field, and you also get 2 cards added to your hand. It's an effect that doesn't affect you. It only affects the opponent. And if you get the dragon first, they can't even do that to get their dragon. Or
I mean, I guess we're almost at the third stratum,
but
but
the dragons added to their hand.
Correct. So
I think we're already at that point where we're way too overpowered now.
Yeah, there's a world they could.
See, this one is really tough because
At least in terms of
it does
combat,
have kind of a prevention
everything
effect,
should be a
right?
breeze now.
You can protect it, and if you went and fetched those thunder dragons, I mean, you kind of just want them in the yard anyway. So discarding them is not a big deal. So it's like, yeah,
It took me until near the end of the halfway through the third stratum in the base game.
There are a lot of times
But our maid is a little overpowered, ain't she? She's kinda goated with the sauce.
Where you can play them for free if they're in your opening hand, right? If you don't get to play them at the start of the game, it's often just too late by the time you play it. I spent the last few days playing a deck that had the answers to my opponent's graveyard strategies, but if they went first, they got to do the whole thing before I got to play it, so it didn't matter. So part of me says, like,
Yeah, that's why you don't construct decks with the assumption that you get to go first.
if the opponent does the tutoring they need to do, and then you draw this, it's probably very bad. And
Very
if you
important
do get
thing.
down early, it's a hoop to jump.
I guess the only loser here would be Umag, who really doesn't
I also have these
attack.
articles that
We're kind of forcing her to attack when
don't always work out
kind
the
of
way you
usually
want
the best when she usually is most effective when she's just holding the line.
Yeah, I've been doing all right. So I'm gonna use my gut, and I could be like, I'll probably be wrong on this one, but we're going to 50-50 land because that's how I feel. This is a coin flip to me. I'm gonna say not bad.
Final answer. You would be correct. If it wasn't for the fact that it was banned for several years because it is currently unbanned, but it was banned for like.
Damn. What
So,
the?
one thing you may miss, my favorite phrase for you, is when you use the ability to discard a thunder to do whatever.
It's
and then
too
you tribute
good.
a guy to bring out
It's
Colossus
too
onto
good.
the field.
Holy shit.
There's nothing stopping you from tributing another Thunder guy and summoning a second Colossus to your field, or a third Colossus to your field. As long as you have some Thunder guys on the field to get rid of, you could hypothetically end on the very
We can
first
afford to be
game,
sloppy
or
in our combat
second.
now.
You could summon 3 of these guys out.
Who
and they're
cares?
still 2,600.
We're never
and,
gonna run out
3
of
them is
resources.
lethal if you get in directly with everything. Frustrating and annoying card. And this is a very polarizing one. A lot of people like this card, and I would say many
Ooh, I was
people hate this card.
hoping you'd show
just
up.
the fact that it's a floodgate that prevents your opponent from playing the game. That's not very fun. There's a lot of tutors in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's the main way that people play the game. Similar to Trident, there were some decks that weren't even Thunder Dragon decks that would do their thing and also have a Colossus on their board as well, just to be annoying and have a lingering, like, floodgate type effect to prevent them from doing even more stuff in addition to everything else. And that was very frustrating. The fact that it protects itself, too, is very irritating. So it did get banned for a time. It's legal now just because these decks are kind of power prep, to be honest, and it's just kind of... It's still a really good card, don't get me wrong, but it's just not really... The game has sort of just evolved to the point where we're kind of, like, past something like this meme. Because this card was, like, from 2018, I want to say? So it's definitely an older card, for sure, but a very, very strong one. Man.
Yes. Yes. I mean, look at him. Too cool to be legal.
He is very, I mean, he's very good. He's very cool card. Very good looking card. And it's cool because it's a retrade of a very old card. That original Thunder Dragon is from the second set, baby. So, fun of the Eternal format. We get retrades like this all the time. 2 left. Oh boy.
Oh boy. Dude, it's too sparkly. What are we doing here? Oh my god, anime. What the hell? Anyway. A level 8 Masterpiece. Of course, the name is Masterpiece. The true Draco Slaying King. Okay, whatever. Defense is 2950. Worm effect. You tribute summon this card face up. You can tribute. Where can I start? Where should I start reading? Let's go down to.
No, part's important action.
Okay. To tribute summon this
No.
card face up, you can tribute continuous.
I hate that it's a
spell
chance.
trap cards. You can tribute continuous spell trap cards you control, as well as monsters, unaffected by the
I worked
effects
really hard for that,
cards
god
with the
dang
same
it.
card type as the original card type of the cards tributed for its tribute summon. What a sentence. I mean, it means to say this card is unaffected by these things, right?
Correct.
Okay. Once per turn during either player's turn, if you control this tribute summoned monster, you can banish one continuous spell trap card from your graveyard, then target one other card on the field and destroy it.
Do you need the simple version?
The simple version is you can sacrifice all kinds of different cards to this, but whichever kind you sacrifice, it can't be touched by those things.
Correct. And keep in mind, it is an 8-star monster, so you have to tribute 2 things in order to bring it out. So, hypothetically, if you tribute a monster and a spell card, a continuous spell card, it will be immune to monster and spell.
And then once on either player's turn, you can pitch things from your graveyard to destroy other things. And there's probably at least... But no, it has to be continuous spell or trap. And then you can... Yeah, which you probably have at least one of, probably 2.
Sure. So in my example, if you tributed a continuous spell and a monster, you're going to have at least that continuous spell to banish the monster.
It strikes me as a control deck win con. This seems very much like a deck that goes a little against the grain of all of this monster Timmy nonsense, and instead plays some the forgotten card types, continuous spells and traps, and then uses them later in the game for removal and plays this thing with protection from all these things so it can try to end the game.
You know, I don't think that is an unfair assessment of the card. I think that is pretty accurate.
So what would get a card like this banned? If a deck comprised of a lot of spells and traps was unnaturally good.
Let's also say, too, that a lot of continuous spells and traps are cards that are going to be preventing your opponent from doing things.
Stacksy stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Stacksy things. Well, one of the interesting things about
Hell
that
yeah.
is you don't always
Hell
have to
yeah.
sacrifice them then. But you can wait, like it's control. You bide your time, and then you sacrifice the thing at the right time, maybe when you have a backup where you've covered all your bases, own up the board, I don't know. And then you bring this out, and they can't deal with it, and it punches a few times, it defeats your hobbled opponent. Immediately, my thought is that if a deck full of continuous spells and traps was too good, I would have heard more about it somewhere.
Okay.
Because it just seems like we're never talking about spells and traps. It seems like they're not even there most of the time. Almost.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we have done full videos where we could have ignored their very existence from start to finish.
It's the payoff game I haven't shown you yet.
And then they banned it? Like, finally make a spell and trap deck, and they're like, get that shit out of here, bring back our monsters. It's possible, but this level of anti-control, anti-spell, anti-trap propaganda is literally, this bias cannot stand. It's ridiculous. I don't think they could do that. Would they do that? I hope not. I'd like to think that they have an appreciation for players who want more out of life than 15 different ways to summon a frickin' dragon, okay? But maybe they don't. Maybe that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Plays. Maybe that's all we've got. I look at this card, and I see trying to make something different happen.
Okay.
When trying to not metagame it, I can see that a card that is immune from everything and can use pieces of an already played game to shut down what the opponent tries to do and destroy everything can be obnoxiously impressive. The fact that you can banish the continuous spells and trap cards from the graveyard to destroy anything on the field gives those cards a whole second life. And I can see why people would find that impressive. But for me, it's really hard for me to look at this card and say you're a problem when it literally feels like past the first couple, like, very early days of Yu-Gi-Oh!, especially since, I don't know, like 2010, 2012, 2014, the cards you've shown me, it just feels like spells and traps don't exist. It's like they have nothing to hang on to. Like, they're used as, like, sideboard cards. They're used as gotchas when some weird new summoning effect shows up. But they're not like a deck. And this says you can be a deck. There's more to you. And I like that. I think that this kind of thing should happen. I think that they should have that kind of event. And if you're going to tell me that this was too impressive and nobody liked playing against it and that's why it got banned, then you're a bunch of lightweight babies. You need to grow up there. But no, I mean, I kind of get it. Still, I don't want this to be banned because I want to believe that these cards can matter. I want to believe that they can be a deck and that it can win the game. I'm cheering for this card. Now, I could go over this again and read it line by line for the thing I may have missed, and I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna stick up for my friend, my buddy here, the tribute. In fact, I don't even care about Masterpiece. Dumb name. I care about the continuous spells and traps. I want them to matter. So I'm gonna say this card is not banned. It's a good, healthy, awesome card. Let's go build a spell and trap deck. It's gonna be great. This card's totally fine.
I think a lot of people would agree with you. A lot of people would agree. But fuck this card, it's bad. I will say, you will be happy to know they are probably unbanning it. It is unbanned currently in the OCG, and they're probably going to unban it here soon in the TCG as well, because typically that happens more often than not. Because I think they're reprinting
it. It is unbanned at 1, and unfortunately, it does nothing.
So the reasoning
it's
for that,
miserable to play with.
3 types of cards in the game: monster, spell, and trap. Generally speaking, most decks are playing monsters and spells. So it's always going to be immune to 99% of the decks that you're playing against. And if you happen to stumble into the decks that have trap cards in them, or like primarily trap cards, the more controlling decks, then you just
So that's the right way. That's the way to the plot. We're not gonna go there yet. Honestly, the TP recovery over time is still the better one. Wait, this is mining again. Oh, never mind. We got all 3 for this floor now. What the fuck is this?
It's you. I see. Well then. It's close. Good luck.
Hello? What you got for me? Thanks. I got some new goods. Go on, take a look. Is that all you came for? Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. What you got for me? What you got for me? Thanks. Thanks for the business.
Welcome back, everyone. Grimoire stones, yes? Is there anything else? I am at your service. Please leave it. Here you are. Welcome back. Have a safe trip.
Welcome to the Rooster Inn. Very well. Then allow me to show you to your room. Well, be careful out there.
We're finally gonna be out of this place.
Immunity with a trap card, it's immune to everything again anyway, and so it's like, oh boy, look at this fun, non-interactive card that I have to work my way through that basically is unkillable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would love it. You would love it. The deck that there are multiple decks that played this, but the one, literally what you described, it is like Masterpiece Turbo. It is like 3 copies of Masterpiece, and then like all spells and traps, and that's all the deck is.
Yeah.
You would love it. It's a bunch of just like stacks-like stuff that makes the opponent is miserable. You get to play some of like the most broken draw cards in the game as well. Oh man, you would love it. This would be right up your alley. So maybe when Masterpiece is legal again, I show you that deck. But yeah, fuck this card. This card is so miserable. And there are people who will die, like you, they will die on the hill that this card is perfectly fine and valid. No. The fact that you're immune to 2/3 of the card pool is bullshit. And there's other cards that go along with this that make it even more bullshit. But by himself, this card is so miserable. And a lot of people would say it's like 8 years old now. There's plenty more ways to deal with it. Whatever. I hate this card. A lot of people hate this card. But last but not least, I heard you like dinosaurs. I heard you're a fan of dinosaurs. Okay. I thought we would use to end on.
You fucking came up with this encounter
This is definitely a Godzilla
layout.
vibe. Like, look at the upright standing with the big tail with the scales and stuff.
It's a Tyranno.
I know, but he's got Godzilla energy, dude.
Oh my god.
He's got such Godzilla energy.
I can't win.
Classic Godzilla music. We have that. Get it monetized.
Probably.
Level 10. Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. So cool. So freaking cool. So this is attack 3500, defense 3200, dinosaur that cannot be normal summoned, of course, unless you special summon from your hand by banishing 2 dinosaur monsters from your graveyard. Yes, more dinosaurs. Once per turn, during the main phase, quick effect, you can destroy 1 monster in your hand or field. And if you do, change all face-up monsters your opponents control to face-down defense position. This card can attack all monsters your opponents controls once each. At the start of the damage step, if this card attacks a defense position monster, you can inflict 1000 damage to your opponent. If you do, send that defense position monster to the graveyard. Does it take damage from the defense position monster, though? Does it flip back up? No? Nope. So you turn everything of theirs face down.
So if they have 5 monsters, you flip them all down, and then this thing runs them all over, and it will deal 5,000 damage.
You attack all of them, and they take 1,000 damage. It kills them all. What? Okay. You can destroy 1 monster in your hand, or field. You can also destroy a card in your hand. Huh. So as long as you have a monster on the field or hand after the 2 dinos. This one you have to get in your hand, though. It's not in the special deck.
Correct. Yes. I will say there are plenty of ways to tutor this guy in your hand, so that's
sure.
not
This is a Timmy card.
How do you compare to the dinos in Magic?
I mean, we have a dinosaur called the Apex Multisaur that when it enters the battlefield can, like, fight everything off the field.
Oh, it's similar.
Yeah, it's a 10-10. It's pretty cool that way. It doesn't also damage the opponent's base. Like, in that way, this is like a card called Massacre Worm that when it enters, all the opponent's creatures get like a -2/-2, and whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, they lose 2 life. So a Massacre Worm against a giant board can sometimes just kill the opponent.
Okay.
So it's kind of like that too. The start of the damage stuff. And it can attack all of them. So yeah.
Close.
So like what you said. If they have 5 things that are face down, this can attack all of them. Can it also attack face that day on that turn? No? Okay.
No. You either go monsters, or if they have no monsters, you can go face.
Okay, it doesn't have any protection. It's not protecting itself or anything.
It sort of has protection, in a way.
Yeah, I guess the opposing monsters, let's see. It's a quick effect, right? So if the opponent tries to activate something from a monster, you can respond by flipping them face down. Does that negate their effects?
No, but if you do it preemptively. So let's say something has a sorcery speed removal effect. When they summon the monster, you would have a window to activate Tyranno to flip it down before it has the chance to use the sorcery speed effect. So that's like the protection it promotes.
I mean, there's... The thing I keep seeing is that this is really cool, but there's... When you have to get into different phases, when you have to successfully attack the opponent's monster to get this thing to happen, when you have to destroy an opponent's monster, like, and it has to be on your turn, it's a once per turn. We did this multiple times with multiple Tyrannos. Does that matter? It seems like it really matters. So it's like, I'm finding holes in this, in just basically getting the payoff. Because if you have to go to combat and somebody can and quick effect something, hand trap, trap card, something, then maybe you don't get the benefit, and on their turn they can turn them face up again, right? That's my understanding.
They can if they survive.
If they survive, yeah. So there might be a few ways to keep the actual blowout from really happening. It would be my point. You can tutor it up, sure.
Also keep in mind that if your opponent's monsters are face down, they cannot synchro summon or exceed summon or do any of the summoning mechanics with them because they have to be face up.
So that can be interference against hand traps is what I'm getting, maybe? I don't know. Still, like, maybe I have to get rid of the mentality that they could play a spell or a trap card to, like, interact because nobody does that. Yeah, I guess if it is all about creatures, this is pretty strong. It still feels like there are guardrails. Like, also, this is the first dinosaur I've seen. And maybe you need 2 other dinosaurs, so this is another one that you can probably see coming. Like,
yes, I would say that's true.
Yeah. So, if you see it coming, how well can you play around it? Is a good question. Good question. And in a world where everything has haste, it's like, how often are you passing with this big-ass board? And can you play around that if your opponent's playing dinosaurs?
Unless this just kills them before they get the chance to.
Possible, yeah. I don't know, man. I'm still looking.
Not feeling it.
I'm not feeling it. This feels like a Timmy card. It really does. It feels like there are things in here that are so magical Christmas land to me that if you tell me that this is like some kind of a busted, had to be banned, oh my god, nobody can use their things. Flipping them face down is so bad for them, and then you kill them, and they take 5,000 damage, and I'm like, I don't know. If my opponent's playing dinosaurs, I would hope there's enough agency in your game that you don't have to just put 5 monsters on the field and pass to them and get your ass blown out. So, this feels like the most Timmy card. This feels like a very, very Timmy card to me. The magical Christmas land. Oh my god, when I do this! And it works on like little Jimmy, but it doesn't work when you go to the tournament, you know? So I'm gonna say this card is fine.
Final answer.
Yeah, final answer. They wouldn't ban a dino. Look at this. It's too cool. It's too Timmy.
They would never ban a dino. Yeah, they would never ban a dino. So, Tyranno's nuts. I think maybe it's hard to, like, understand how good flipping things face down is. Like, you've learned that setting monsters face down as we get into Yu-Gi-Oh! 2 is not particularly good, but things that have the effect to interact with the opponent to flip their stuff down reactively is actually quite strong for being able to stop them from going into their extra deck to summon all of their super powerful things. That's like turn ending a lot of the time, depending on the way that some decks function. So I think Tyranno's effect is actually a bit innocuous in terms of like how good it actually is. And then you can flip those up on their turn if they already summon them. So they kind of just have to pass, and then Tyranno's just going to get in and ram over everything and just kill them, basically. But you're right. Yep, this is a different it's a good card. It's a good card, don't get me wrong. If you're playing dinosaurs, you can play this card, because it is, out of all the things I've shown you, maybe it's the most Timmy out of everything I've shown you, but to be fair, it's still a very strong card for what it's worth. This is a card that got people very excited for the dinosaur archetype. There are a lot of good cards in the dinosaur deck, but it's just, it had its moment in the spotlight where it was like a very good deck for a small period of time relative to all of Yu-Gi-Oh!, but not nearly as egregious as some of the other things that I've shown you. But I know you like dinosaurs, I thought we'd end on a fun one. And it's a very fun one for what it's worth. You did not take the victory.
Nope. Is there an anime episode with this, or an anime arc?
No.
No? Oh,
unfortunately.
Okay.
There is a guy, though, in the anime who all he does is play dinosaur cards, for the record, so...
Dude, we found multiple 10-year-old me. Let's go.
There you go. There you go. So how do you feel about Yu-Gi-Oh's boss monsters?
Interesting spread, to be honest. Like, you go from the big stompy dinosaurs, and in Magic, if I were talking about Timmy cards, I'd be talking mostly about, like, the Tyranno. But you've got some toxic pretenders up in here. Just gross, remove everything all the time, you can't do stuff. Those aren't Timmy monsters in the Magic sense. In the Magic sense, those are stats. Those are, like, competitive. The commander, it's like, ew, CDH kind of stuff. So
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
We definitely have some cards that are even more Timmy-like, but I have to make it a bit difficult. I can't just give you all the easy ones like Tyranno. So.
Sure.
But I'd say you did pretty good overall.
Thank you. Do I have to figure out what got banned twice now?
Oh, I forgot. You do. Go ahead and take your guess. What would you say?
Well, going off some of the things, my front runners, the towers is still up there for me. I can see them thinking over time that this became fine, and it was not fine. The Zodiac Trident, I can see maybe they thought at some point this was fine, and it was not fine, and it just became ubiquitous again, and that's kind of lame. Thunder Dragon Colossus, honestly, I don't see it. I still don't see it. But maybe, dude, why would they unban this card if they really got to that point where it had to be banned? It feels like this is one of those cards that you would not take off the ban list because people probably really hated it. I can't see a lot of people loving it. I don't know. The art is great, though. But didn't you say it was unbanned, though, recently?
Colossus, yes.
Yeah. So it doesn't strike me as something that went on and off for years. It seems like it's like a recent thing that would be unbanned. I don't know. It doesn't ring that way to me. Masterpiece, nah. One time was hard enough, and they need to bring it back. Quite frankly,
So you're between Towers and Trident.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick to it.
I'm gonna stick to my very first gut. I'm gonna go with Towers.
Final answer.
Yeah.
It was Trident.
Dang it!
As a matter of fact, I'm actually shocked. I'm actually shocked you even had Trident in consideration, considering how innocuous it is. But yes, Trident was banned. They unbanned it. They put it to 1, so it was limited still to a singular copy. And they're like, oh yeah, this is fine. And a few lists later, they rebanned.
Because one in every deck. Yeah, just everybody had to play it.
It was just as annoying as it was the first time. Let's be honest. It was just so annoying. Yeah. It was, you really only need the 1 to be fit. Like, having multiple is even more annoying, but it's almost just like a checkmate. Just having the 1, not to mention there are ways to recycle it, but again, Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't go many turns more often than not, so if you just have your board and stick the Trident, Trident also is a combo enabler, if you can believe that, because you can target destroy your own cards that get effects when they get destroyed, and not many other cards are that consistent in doing that because you can just get Trident immediately out of the extra deck. Yeah, they realized not too long after they unbanned it, they're like, yep, we need to ban this card.
It's the low extra deckness that's the problem. That's the problem.
It's extremely efficient is the problem with it. It's just too good. It does too much for 1 card, and I don't know, I love it. I love Trident. I don't like the toxic cards. I like the cards that let you play the game. I'm like you. I don't want to deny my opponent from playing. I want to have a good game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Damn it.
I just want to activate my trap card. I want to do the...
You just want to play Masterpiece.
I want to do the thing 1 time.
To be fair, Masterpiece is just like souped up Trident in a way.
Yeah, but you get to also play spells and traps and not just pretend they don't exist.
So guys, that's going to wrap it up for another video. I really hope you all enjoyed. Let's go ahead and shout the patrons for all of their continued support. So shout out to Shout1317, Tim20x3, MBT Play Vidolce, Moto, Cameron L. Smith, The Synchro Guy, Pony Stark, Dan the Man Hobbit, Little Bayleaf, Draconic, Dylan Murray Hunter, JW11860, Flannel Daddy, literally all of the guinea pigs, Cheeks Blafferty, Stolfin Amethyst, MBT Cancel Bio Community soon, Cancel Bio Community soon, Cancel Bio Player soon, Wonder Waffle, MBT and Nimnims, One Boxer Refueled Knight of Passion, Daniel Howell, Electrician of the Ice Barrier, Astro Random, Arco, and the Nova 129. Thank you guys so much again for watching, and we will see you next time.
Let me have a look. Ah, hello everyone. Won't you please accept this? Who will carry this one? Is there anything else? I am at your service. Yes, at once. Congratulations. I shall await your return.
Hello? What you got for me? Thanks, I got some new goods. Go on, take a look. Is that all you came for? Here you go. 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 Thanks for the business. Hello? Is that all you came for? Next time you should buy something.
Welcome to the Rooster Inn. Very well. A quick rest, right? Of course. Well... sign in over here, please. Well, be careful out there.
Hey there. Okay, hear me out. You want to ask around?
Can I help you?
Which one are you interested in? Now, what'll it be? Which one are you interested in? Ah, that one. Which one are you interested in? Ah, that one. Which one are you interested in? Ah, that one. Which one are you interested in? Ah, that one. I'm counting on you.
Ah, it's you. Keep it quick. See you around.
What brings you here to Rada Hall? Ah, it's you. Was there something else? You have a report. We are grateful for your hard work. Thank you. Well done. Now then. Huh. Ah, it's you. You'll accept the mission, yes? Ah, so you accept. Well then, we'll rely on you. Allow me to explain. Huh. We're all counting on you. Well then, we'll rely on you. Well then, I bid you good luck.
Ah, it's you. You sign up a good crew? If you didn't give it some thought, you'll regret it later. Keep it quick. What'll it be?
I believe it's level 30 when we can finally rest for the first time.
Hey there. You want to ask around? Well, I'm counting on you. Welcome back, everyone. Is there anything else? I shall await your return.
Hello? Is that all you came for? Next time you should buy something.
Welcome to the Rooster Inn. Your mission's going well, I hope? Sign in over here, please. Come back here whenever you're tired.
All right. Hey.
Ooh!
Should we get going?
I forgot to spend my skill points.